Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to the craziest fights in NFL history. This is going to be a pretty crazy one because, I mean, the NFL is full of amazing athletes. These guys are strong, fast, very athletic, and back in the day, I think in the 70s and 80s, maybe the 60s, but I'm not too sure. A lot of these players were juicing. You know, they were juicing. So, and one of the biggest side effects of juicing is rage. You know, you get roid rage. So I'm sure a lot of these fights from that era might be influenced by the different chemicals in their bodies, but it might just be the aggression that these players naturally have, because to play, an American football at the professional level, you have got to be, it's basically, people have told me it's like modern day gladiators, really. Like, these guys are taking big hits, they're dishing out big hits constantly throughout the entire game, and sometimes you're going to just lose your temper. So yeah, this video, I'm sure it's going to be a really, really crazy one, probably quite intense, but I love that sort of stuff. Let's do it.
And something like this is bound to happen.
Oh, easy.
Maybe a while before he celebrates again.
All out
Welcome
brawl.
to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest NFL fights.
They're throwing punches back and forth, and there'll be injections here.
And I mean bodies from both sidelines come racing out in front of the Lions bench.
And another fight is broken out. Well, this
Let's
is a
go.
real one.
For this list,
Is the NFL similar to rugby, where you can kind of like open palm hit each other, but you can't close fist? Is it kind of similar? If you close fist in rugby, you get thrown out of the game. An open palm is you get 10 minutes on the sin bin, basically. It's like 10 minutes and then you can come back onto the game.
we'll be looking at some of the most insane altercations, scuffles, and fights in NFL history. What's the craziest fight your favorite team has ever been a part of? Be sure to share with us in the comment section below. Now, let's get to some football.
Oh my God.
Number 10, Steve Smith Sr. versus Malcolm Jenkins.
Ooh, nice
Carolina
catch.
Panthers versus New Orleans Saints, 2011. Steve Smith is just something else. After making an amazing grab during a game against the New Orleans Saints, the wide receiver easily ran for the touchdown, but was hit late by safety Roman Harper. As a scuffle ensued shortly after between players from both teams, you'd think that Smith would go after the player who actually hit him, but he was so fired up he just went for the first opposing player he saw.
And a fight is going on in the end zone.
Dude, where are his teammates, man? It's like 15-1 right now.
And Cam Newton has run all the way in
finally.
there with the entire offense and defensive teams.
And that unfortunate soul was safety Malcolm Jenkins. Smith absolutely manhandles him and throws him to the ground. Smith's demeanor as he sticks up for himself, along with the fact that he made sure to celebrate before getting himself involved, makes this skirmish all the more memorable.
Yeah.
Number 9,
I love the way he banged his helmet. That was pretty cool.
Santana Moss versus Corey Webster, Washington football team versus the New York Giants, 2009.
Look at him go.
Sometimes
Oh,
blocking
uppercut.
can turn into face clocking. On one play during a game between these two division rivals, wide receiver Santana Moss blocked cornerback Corey Webster, and everything fell apart very quickly. The two immediately started fighting, and things escalated even further when Webster knocked off Moss's helmet. Moss
the
punched Webster,
uppercut.
and the cornerback pulled Moss to the ground as their teammates surrounded
down
the
he
fighting
goes.
football players.
Corey Webster is shadowing
Look at this,
Santana Moss the
timber.
entire game. And you never know how that's going to play out when the referee finally sees the altercation, but from what I can tell, that was all Santana life.
The dirty debacle resulted in personal foul calls on both players. Surprisingly, neither Moss nor Webster was ejected for this scrap.
Nice.
However, the league did hand out $5,000 fines for the fight after the game was over. Number 8.
Honestly, I feel like, why eject players? You're asking them to go into the game and do these huge hits on each other. But when, one of them, loses their temper a little bit, a tiny little scuffle happens, you kick them out of the game. Well, come on. Let them bang. Let them bang.
Joey Porter versus William Green, Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns, 2004. These two didn't even make it to kickoff before throwing punches.
Wow.
About an hour before the game started, Joey Porter and William Green exchanged some less than friendly words.
Ooh.
Of course, these not so nice words quickly escalated to intense blows.
Right in the middle there, that is Joey Porter, number 55, William Green, number 31, the running back for the Browns, and they are exchanging blows.
The scuffle resulted in a bloody lip for Green and $10,000 fines for both players. They were ejected from the game before it even began.
Damn.
While this fight is already pretty bad, the fact that spitting was also involved takes the disrespect of this brawl to an entirely different level. Number 7.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, it's one thing to, you know, throw a bit of fisticuffs, but to spit, I mean, come on, that's just disgusting. Come on.
Buddy Ryan versus Kevin Gilbride.
Ooh, was that the
Houston
coach?
Oilers versus themselves? 1994. Not all football brawls happen on the field or even between opposing players. Throughout the entire 1993-1994 season, Houston's defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan and offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride were at odds with each other. Their disagreements came to a head during the final game of the regular season against the New York Jets.
That's Buddy Ryan taking a swing at Kevin Gilbride.
Now that's hard to believe.
That's baloney. I mean, it's just hogwash.
At the end of the first half, Ryan and Gilbride started yelling at each other despite the fact that the Oilers were up 14-0.
What's going
Once they were
on?
close enough, Ryan punched his fellow coach. Gilbride stumbled as he tried to return the favor, and players quickly separated their coaches. Despite the fight, the Oilers would go on to win the game. Number 6.
I mean, these kind of things happen a lot in sports, for sure. But you keep it in the locker room. You don't really want to broadcast it to the whole world, you know. But I guess there's something must have been said that really pissed off Buddy Ryan.
Odell Beckham Jr. versus Alec Ogletree. New York Giants versus St. Louis Rams 2014.
Tell you, this game's got a chance to get ugly.
To be fair, the way he pushed him back down.
It is getting ugly right now.
Look at him
You
go.
can see this coming from a long time ago.
During a play in this matchup between the Giants and the Rams, inside linebacker
It's the way he pushes him back down after he gets up. Watch this.
Alec Ogletree
So he gets
dragged
up
wide
and bang!
receiver Odell Beckham Jr. out of bounds in a rather aggressive
That is a
fashion.
violation.
And this may be a flag.
Odell, being
Absolute
Odell,
violation.
wasn't having it, and he retaliated. It only took a matter of seconds for things to get out of control, and everything and everyone went from 0 to 100 real quick. 3 players were ejected, and almost $60,000 in fines were given. However, this wouldn't be the last time Odell Beckham Jr. had himself an intense altercation with an opposing player on defense. More on that later. Number 5.
I guess Odell Beckham Jr. because he's known for that amazing catch. I guess if you're the defense, if you're the opposing player, you don't want to become the poster victim. So I guess they probably go in harder on him.
5. Jalen Ramsey versus AJ Green. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Cincinnati Bengals 2017.
Oh, there's a fight behind the play. Flags come flying in.
With the clock winding down to halftime, after a light push from wide receiver AJ Green, cornerback Jalen Ramsey shoved him to the ground.
I mean, that was a tiny little push, 20. Chill out. He literally just brushed his hand on him almost.
It quickly escalated, with Green putting Ramsey into a headlock, pulling him to the ground, and repeatedly punching him. Both teams rushed to the scuffle, resulting in a pile of players. Green and Ramsey were both ejected for the altercation. After the game, both players gave their side of the story.
I was out there doing what I do, locking the receiver up, talking that talk. People think, this is AJ Green. He's never got like this before. AJ Green also, he ain't never played Jalen Ramsey before.
While Ramsey claimed he got inside Green's head with his trash talk, Green claimed he was defending himself and apologized for his uncharacteristically extreme reaction.
Look at him. He thinks he's so hard. He's like, that face. The mean mug.
The only thing more surprising than the brawl itself was that no suspensions were given, although Green did receive a $42,000 fine. Number 4, Odell Beckham Jr. versus...
Where does the money go that they find, like the NFL? Like, do they donate it to charity, or does it basically just line the pockets of the higher-ups in the NFL?
Josh Norman, New York Giants versus Carolina Panthers, 2015.
These two are still going at it.
A top wide receiver versus a top cornerback? You just love to see it. The media was hyping this matchup all throughout the week, but no one expected it to play out like this.
If these officials would watch what's going on, they got to be real careful, the Giants do, because if this continues, there's not only going to be a penalty on Beckham, there's a chance he gets tossed.
Throughout this regular season showdown between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants back in 2015, Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. and Panthers cornerback Josh Norman got into several exchanges.
I mean, at some point, this is ridiculous.
As the game went on, the tension between both players
That grin. That would wind up anyone. Oh my God.
grew.
And picks up a first down, and there's Beckham again. What is going on? Have you seen a guy this thrown off his game before?
Beckham, who had been having a rough game, took out his anger on Norman by rushing into him headfirst. Norman naturally retaliated by putting a knee
Beckham got ragdolled. Oh my God. That was embarrassing.
to Beckham's head. A ref put a stop to the fight before it got too out of hand, and they remained in the game. How neither player got
How can you run into someone at full speed and you bounce off him? Like, look at this.
to Beckham's head.
Look.
A ref put a stop to the
So
fight.
Beckham's
before it
running,
got
he's
too out of
running, he's
hand,
running.
and they remained
Running.
in the game. How
Boing.
neither player got ejected is completely beyond us. Afterwards, they were each fined. Beckham was suspended for a game, and the rivalry continued with much less intensity.
Oh, look at him
Number
trying
3,
to step over
Akeem
him.
Talib versus Michael Crabtree. Denver Broncos versus Oakland Raiders, 2017.
Oh, we have a fight on the other side. Look at this.
This altercation was a year in the making. During a scuffle that took place a year earlier, defensive back Akeem Talib had ripped off wide receiver Michael Crabtree's chain, and the two parted ways with bad blood. To kick off round 2, Crabtree blocked Talib all the way out
To be honest though, why are you wearing a chain while you're playing football? Like, it just doesn't, you're going to lose that. I just don't know why you would do that.
of bounds. Both players went to the ground, and a brawl ensued. Their teammates ran to the scuffle, and somehow Crabtree and Akeem escaped the group and got into a full-on fist fight.
This is crazy because now you're going to get ejected from the game. I mean, this is just selfish.
Crabtree
when your own
has
self-interest
lost it.
are more important than the team, then you put yourself and your team at risk.
Talib, once again, made sure to rip off Crabtree's chain. Talib and Crabtree were both ejected from the game for the fight, and they were initially handed 2 game suspensions that were reduced to 1 apiece. This scrap is definitely one for the books.
They're ejected.
Do you guys think the penalties in the NFL are too severe? Like, you know, suspensions and stuff like that? Because it's a physical game. It's a very physical game. Like, I think you've got to have some leeway. Do you think the game's getting soft? What do you think? Or do we need to protect the players more?
They knew that was coming.
Yep.
Personal foul.
Just can't do it.
Number 2, Mason Rudolph versus Myles Garrett, Pittsburgh Steelers versus
My
Cleveland
God,
Browns.
53 has
2019.
lost it.
Mason Rudolph got into it.
53 has lost his mind.
What in the world?
Helmets are really meant for protecting heads. I'm not bashing them.
Oh,
Near the end of this
actually,
game between
oh my
Pittsburgh
God,
and Cleveland,
95.
Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph and Browns defensive end Myles Garrett got tangled up.
95
Rudolph
with
grabbed
the
Garrett's
helmet.
face mask, and Garrett retaliated by grabbing Rudolph's helmet, ripping it off, and hitting the quarterback in the head with his own protective equipment.
God.
Steelers center Marquise Pouncey stepped in to
Look at
punch
this,
and
look at
kick
this.
Garrett, and Browns defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi shoved a player.
And then Ogunjobi comes up and hits Rudolph
53.
from behind.
Oh, man.
Garrett was suspended.
To be fair, you can understand 53's position here. He's just seen his quarterback, you know, get absolutely boshed in the head with his helmet. You're not going to have that.
Indefinitely before eventually getting reinstated, and players from both teams involved in the scrap were fined a total of more than $500,000.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Andre Johnson versus Cortland Finnegan, Houston Texans versus Tennessee Titans, 2010.
Flags come down. Oh, there's punching now.
Yeah, Finnegan and Andre Johnson going after it.
At the time, Tennessee cornerback Cortland Finnegan had a
That guy's just still talking crap. Look at him. Look at his face.
Finnegan had a reputation around the league and among fans for being a dirty player.
I
Throughout this
see.
game, he was
31's a
being
dirty
awfully
player.
chirpy with Texans receiver Andre Johnson, who at the time was one of the league's best at his position.
During
the last quarter of the game, Finnegan made the mistake of aggressively pushing his hands into Johnson's face.
Ooh.
Fed up with Finnegan's behavior, Johnson ripped off the cornerback's helmet. Finnegan retaliated, resulting in a bizarre fight between two helmetless players on the field. Both teams rushed to break up the fight, and Finnegan and Johnson were ejected.
That's gotten ugly.
The fight cost both players $25,000, but neither was suspended. We hope Finnegan learned his lesson. Do not mess with Andre.
To be fair, why just don't see that in the
NFL very often.
Do you agree with our picks?
Those two
Check out
punches will
this
sort
other
him
recent
out.
clip from Watch Mojo.
Call it the attitude adjuster. Brilliant video, really entertaining. Just seeing these guys just lose it. Like, to be honest, it happens. Like when I used to play rugby at uni, like because it's a full contact sport, you know, some of the tackles, you just know the person is either just trying to hurt you or they're just really trying to put you off your game. And, you know, after a few of those consecutively happen, you just snap. It's just human nature. But yeah, like the guy who hit the quarterback with his helmet, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, a little bit of push and shove, that to me is completely fine in a full contact sport. You know, I think where I would draw the line is maybe punches. Like I would have it similar to rugby where you can kind of like open palm sort of shove, quite forcefully shove players away. But yeah, you can't really throw punches, I guess. But then in hockey they do. I think hockey, to be fair, the way they regulate the game is perfect because they let these players, blow off some steam, and then a 5-minute suspension, they're back in the game. What do you guys think? Do you think fighting, like NHL type fighting, should be allowed in the NFL, or do you like the system as it is? Do you think it's getting too soft? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.